Points in a coordinate plane. In this lesson, we're talking about all about the coordinate plane. So first, let's talk about a set of pair of input and output values. It basically can be written as an ordered pair. So a lot of times, these are known as coordinates. For the way we know it is best. So you'll see like an x value and a y value. So that's a relation. Domain is a set of all input values. So this is all the x values. Right, so these are going to be all the input values we get in, and then our output values, also known as a range, is going to be our y values. A function is just a relation in which each element of the domain is paired with exactly one element of the range. That's just saying all the x values are going to be unique. You're not going to double up any of the x values. So all x values are unique. Quadrant, one of the four sections of a coordinate plane separated by x and y axes. So let's look at our rectangular coordinate system right here. So here's an example of a rectangular coordinate system. If you see here, this horizontal line is going to be our x-axis. So let's color that in a little bit. Like that. Our vertical line, this right there, is called our y-axis. So y-axis. Where they meet in the middle here is called the origin. That's the origin right there. This would be the positive x-axis. Oh, that line's not good. So this is where the x is positive. This would be where x is negative. Same thing for the y-axis. Here's the positive y values. And then down here are the negative y values. And you can see it kind of breaks up into four different what we call quadrants. And then we read them counterclockwise. So quadrant 1's right here. And in this value, you have your x is positive because you're going to right, and then if you go up, your y is positive. So this is plus plus. When you go to the left here, you always go on your x first. We're going to go left, and then we could go up to get to quadrant 2. So that'd be minus under x, but plus under y. To get to quadrant 3, we'd go left, so negative under x, but then we'll go down. So negative, negative. All the points here will be negative for both x and y. And then quadrant 4 down here, right, we go positive on our x, but then we have to go negative on our y. So plus minus. So that's our coordinate system. Now let's talk about how to let's find all these points. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So let's talk about A. So A is right here. So the way we count that, we go from the origin, and you always want to go on your x first. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our x value. Then we're going to go up 2. So 1, 2. So we'll write this as 4, 2. So again, this is our x, and this is our y. Just like that. And then if we could set that's in quadrant 1. Let's put Q1 here. B, if we want our point B, so B is right there. So again, we're going from the origin. So we have to go left 1, so it'll be negative 1 for our x. And then we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So negative 1 and 5. And that's in quadrant 2. Next, let's find C. So C is right here. So we're going from the origin, and then left and right goes first. That's your x. So we're going to go left 1, 2, 3. So negative 3, and then we're going to go down 1, 2, 3. So this will be negative 3 and 3. Negative 3, negative, sorry. And that's in quadrant 3. D, so D is right here. So to get there again, from origin, to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then down 2. So right 6, down 2. So 6, and then negative 2 go down, and that is in quadrant 4. E is right here, so it's right on the axis, and we'll talk about that in a second. So how do we get there? We go right 3, and then on our y we do nothing, so 0. So this point would be 3, 0. Let's write over here actually. 3, 0. And this is on the positive x-axis. F is right here. So it's on the positive y-axis. How do we do that one? Well, we go nowhere, so 0 on our x. We're not moving at all. We're just going to go up. So that's only on the y. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 0, 4. Remember, y is the second one. That's the positive y-axis. G is right here. So that's this left 3, negative 3. That's it. So negative 3, 0. Let's go a little faster now. That's the negative x-axis. H is down there. So I have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, on our x we do nothing, so 0 on our x, but up and down to our y. So 0, negative 5. That's the negative y-axis. And then I is right in the middle, that's the origin. So that's the 0, 0. We do call that the origin. Right. I is right in the middle right there, so the origin. Okay, let's do a little more with this. So let's talk about the domain and range values. So domain values, also known as the input values, or the x values. So on here, there would be all these. Now there'll be all the x values, so all of these. Generally we'll write them in order. So the first one I see is negative 3. So I'll write it like this. Negative 3. If you want, like, why am I doing like a curly bracket? Anytime you do a list of numbers, you generally want to do curly brackets to let you know that's a list. But let's go. Negative 3. Next I see is negative 1. Right, there's actually 2 negative 3s, right? Here and here. Then we have negative 1. And then after that, I see lots of zeros. And then we have 3, 4, and 6. So those are my domain values, all the x values, right? And I'll put them in order. And then we had a couple doubles. You don't write the doubles, but we could see that at 2 negative 3s, I have lots of zeros. So like that. The range is going to be all the y values. So output values are the y values. Now we'll do the same thing. We'll list them out. So I have negative 5, negative 3, negative 2, 0, 2, 4, and 5. So those are the range values. The range is all the y values, and the domain is all the x values. Next question, is this thing a function? Now remember, function, you want all the x values to be different. X values are all unique. Now this one will not be. Now you look here, you're like, wait, there's no two of the same x values. But if you look up here, there is, right? Negative 3 and negative 3, all the zeros. This is not a function. So no. No, not a function. Now I'll put the 2 negative 3 values there. Negative 3, and negative 3, 0. This is showing an example of why it's not a function. Right. Okay, let's move on to the next type of problems. Graph the given function using the given domain, identify the range. So it gives us this domain here. They want us to graph it. They give us an equation. So very important, right? So they have a domain, they have an equation, and wants to graph this. Easiest way to do it, the same way a calculator would do it, is just let's make a table. We'll start with our x values, our domain. Then we're going to have the equation right here, y equals negative x plus 1. This will be our range, also known as, this will be our inputs, this will be our output. And just for the sake of making it easy to graph, we'll put the coordinate point right here. We'll put our combination here, x, y. So this will be the point we graph. We'll kind of combine our domain and our range that we get from this equation to plot our point. So that's the way we're going to graph it. We'll do it to a couple of these. So our domain, right, they give us values of negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. We're going to substitute them into the equation right here. Now when you substitute, this is our x values, so they're going to go in for the x value. Alright, so we're going to have this. Y equals negative 2 plus 1. Right, and then we're plugging in for the x. The x is right here. There's already a negative on the outside, so it becomes negative plus 1. 2 negatives make a positive. So this is positive 2 plus 1, which is just 3. So when our x value is negative 2, and we put it in, we get 3 for our y. So that's our point. Negative 2 and 3. Right, that'll be our domain and our range. Domain, range. Input, output. Okay, then we're going to do the same for all these points. So same with negative 1. So when y equals negative 1 plus 1. Right, again, all we're going to do is substitute wherever you see the x, we're going to plug in the point we want. So 2 negatives make a positive. So we get positive 1 plus 1, which is 2. And then our point would be negative 1 and 2. 0. So we're going to substitute 0 in for our x here. So same idea. I wish I'd move these down. Is I write too big? There we go. So we're going to substitute our 0. So y equals negative 0 plus 1. 0 times anything is still 0. So we get 0 plus 1. which is 1. So there will be 0, 1. And keep on going. So 1, y equals negative 1 plus 1. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So 1, 0. And then finally, y equals negative 2 plus 1. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. So we get the point 2 and negative 1. So those are our points we're going to put, right? So our domain values they gave to us, and then we plug them into the equation to get the corresponding y values, and those two together make our point. So if we're going to plot them here, so this is our x, this is our y. So remember, we're going to go to our x first, so negative 2, 3. So I got to go back to my x. Then from there, you're going to go 3 up on your y. So right here's our point. Do the same thing with the next one, negative 1, 2. So left 1 and then up 2. 0, 1. So don't go, you can't go left or right, just stay there. You go up 1. And then 1, 0, another way around, right? So you go over 1, then you don't go, then you don't move up or down, stay right there. And then 2, negative 1. So we're going to go over 2 and then down 1. Okay, we connect those points to get a graph. Just like that. And then the other question here is, what is the range of this graph? The range is just the y values we found. So our range is going to be 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1. And actually, we should put it in correct order. So I'm going to go negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? We don't want to go low to high. So that's our range. Okay, let's do one more real quick to make sure we got it. So same thing. I'm going to go a little faster on this one. Here's our domain, our x values. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Our equation is y equals 2x minus 3. And once we figure out what that y is, we'll have our point x and y. It's like that. So again, all we're going to do here is we're going to substitute in all these values for the x right there. Right, so all of these points are going to be plugged in for the x right there. So it's kind of like we have this right now. Times something minus 3. We're going to plug in all these values in for that missing space. Okay, so this is the first one. Y equals 2 times negative 2 minus 3. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 minus 3. Right, remember, if they're both negative, just add them. So we get negative 7, which makes our point negative 2, negative 7. I'll just plot it right now. So again, this is our x, this is our y. So we're going to go back 2 and then down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think right here. We're a little off. Okay, next one. X equals negative 1. So y equals 2, times negative 1 minus 3. That's negative 2 minus 3. Again, both negatives, we just add it. Negative 5. So negative 1 and negative 5. Negative 1, negative 5. Right there. Right? So I went, on my x, I went left 1. That's your first point. And then you go down 5 on your y. Next is 0. So y equals 2 times 0 minus 3. So that is 0 minus 3 equals negative 3. So 0 and negative 3. So right there. Next one, 1. So y equals 2 times 1 minus 3. That's 2 minus 3. So in that case, right, positive minus a negative. This one's bigger, so it's mean negative 1. So I get 2 and negative 1. That seems, is that right? 2 and negative 1, yeah. I don't know, this 1 and negative 1. Okay, I was wondering. Sorry about that. I saw the 2. So 1 and negative 1. I was like, that seemed a little off. There we go. That looks better. That's more of a straight line. Okay, last one there. 2, so y equals 2 times 2 minus 3. So 4 minus 3 is 1. And we get 2 and 1. So 2, 1 right there. Connect those dots. And we have our graph. Now, that way of doing it, it's a little cumbersome, but it always works. Even when you get to higher math and like you're not sure what a graph looks like, we just plug in points. It's like your calculator does. Okay, and the last part is what's the range? So here's all my range values, and I think this time I just follow it because it goes in order already. So first y value I see is negative 7, then negative 5, negative 3, negative 1, and 1. So that's the range. And that's the video.